through the Open 8 until the state championship game. So the Huskies, after being defeated in the Open 8 in its inaugural season format by the Saguaro SaberCats earlier this year on ESPN2, able to take down the SaberCats and now riding an undefeated record, looking for undefeated regular season number 8 in program history. The last time that the Huskies were undefeated through the regular season, back in 2011, where they beat Chandler not just once in the regular season, but again in the postseason, but will lose in the state championship to Desert Vista. Well, both teams coming out of the locker room, quote unquote, with all the COVID regulations and restrictions, the Higley Knights locker room, it's just the north end zone, hanging out in the stands over behind the goalpost. The Huskies do have at least a space over by where they normally have their locker room, but the Knights just kind of stuck over on the side of the field, meanwhile for themselves. Higley 3-3 on the year in their first season in the 6A conference. The big school football teams. Some quality wins against Mountain Point, Desert Ridge. Cesar Chavez last week, just a 3-point victory. But their losses to some of the best right now in the conference, Castile, Williamsfield, and of course the Chandler Wolves as well. And then for the Huskies and the Wolves, they will meet next week. We will not have that here on the Hamilton stream. We won't have it on the Chandler stream. It won't even be on the Sports 360 AZ YouTube page because that will be on national television on ESPNU. The Battle of Arizona Avenue will commence on national television next week, a part of the Geico Bowl Series. So that will be exciting to have on national television. What could potentially end up being an Open 8 eventual rematch as well, a preview of the Open 8 championship as arguably the two best teams in Arizona through 2020. The strange time that we have had here in 2020. Just thankful to be able to have a season going here in the AIA in Arizona high school football. Well, in just a few moments, we will have our national anthem, and we will be ready to kick things off here in Chandler, Arizona. The Hamilton Huskies, led by Coach Michael Zadebski in his third year at the helm of the program in the 6A Premier Region. The Higley Knights, led by Coach Eddie Zuby, his 11th year with the program. This is a 6A Premier Region battle. The Huskies so far 2-0 in region. The Knights 0-1 with their lone loss being to the Chandler Wolves. So the music getting ready. The color guard standing at attention. Discussed earlier how the Higley Knights in their first season in the 6A conference, it was just a few years ago that they were in the 4A conference. You got to go up from 4A to 5A to 6A, 6A being the biggest school. And back when Higley started making their transition up through the ranks, that was back when it was just, well, went by attendance, number of students at the school. Now it's a mixture of that and competitiveness over the past 3 seasons. That has changed things quite a bit. Well, the Hamilton Huskies, they get up and off of their corner of the field. And the Huskies ready to make battle. 5-0 on the year, looking for another victory before they take on the Chandler Wolves next week. A team with only 7 games this season. The Huskies vying for a 7-0 season. Obviously not a ton like their 7-10-0 seasons that they had with undefeated regular seasons, but at the very least here in 2020, an undefeated season is an undefeated season, especially when it makes you back-to-back Open 8 competitors. It could be possible that the only other members to do so will be the rival Chandler Wolves, maybe the Centennial Coyotes. We'll have to see later in the year. Single captains coming out onto the field right now for both teams. The head captain for the Higley Knights, number 9, sophomore Carter Hancock. Excuse me, that's number 8, Roman Kupu for the Higley Knights, the captain there. For the Huskies, the captain is the senior, James John. Out for the coin toss. Higley wins it, defers to the second half. And we are ready to get rolling here in Chandler, Arizona. Glad to have you watching Hamilton Husky football here, whether you're on the YouTube page or on sports360az.com. The Huskies 5-0, looking to move to 7-0 last year. A phenomenal 9-3 season. And now, post coin toss, the color guard stepping out of the end zone. The national anthem played by the band here at Hamilton High School. Now about ready to get underway. Ready to see Nico Marchio, the junior quarterback transfer from Colorado, who has been absolutely tearing up the field. You know, just passing 6 pass touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, nearly 1,000 yards through the air. Tacking on another 4 rushing touchdowns. Marchio responsible for double-digit touchdowns so far this year. He even narrowed down to his top 8 Division I schools that he's looking to attend post-graduation, but right now just a junior and his eye on one thing, going and crowning the Hamilton Huskies as Open 8 champions. For those of you guys a little bit new to Arizona high school football, a major change was not just conference championships, but the AIA ranking the top 8 schools of the top 3 conferences, Those top 8 teams, regardless of what conference they're in, their attendance, they entered their own tournament. And in that tournament, the Chandler Wolves became the inaugural Open Division champions, essentially the state champions, the overall state champions of Arizona. Hamilton looking to write their name in the history books, and before they will take on the rival Chandler Wolves, they have to take down the Higley Knights. Connor Olson ready to kick this ball off for the Knights. Back to receive this ball for the Huskies, Jake Howell, the senior captain. Time for showtime here in Chandler, Arizona. Picked up at the 10-yard line. Running through a lot of the Knights. About a 25-yard return for Jack Howell. And that will bring on up the Hamilton Huskies. Plenty of fans up here in the stands. By no means is it an empty crowd. Everyone wearing masks, socially distancing. The Huskies able to open up this game on their own 34-yard line here. And we get to see for the first time this junior quarterback and captain of this team, Nico Marchio, to open things up. Fake handoff. Got the defensive line to bite. Out in space and able to pick up a first down and then some. Marchio carries the Huskies into night territory on the very first play of the game. 22-yard gain for the junior quarterback to open up quarter number 1. First and 10 here, now on the Hamilton 44. Marchio with 5 out. Eyes, fires. Pass completed at the 41-yard line, and on this first completion of the game for the Huskies is the sophomore, Jackson Haynes. This Hamilton Husky team with plenty of weapons offensively, although typically they love to pound the turf, about 250 yards per game on the ground as opposed to just about 175 through the air, even with that gunslinger of Nico Marchio. 2nd and 7 on the 41. Marchio slings another pass and cutting down the middle. It's another first down. That time it's Trey Lockhart. The senior picking up a first down. The Huskies continue to march downfield. 1st and 10 here on the Higley Knights 29-yard line. Trying to swing it out to the left. Pass falls incomplete. Was eyeing Brady Shuck. Nick Reek was there standing in the way, though, and looks like threw them off just a little bit. So for the first time tonight, the Huskies with no gain. Second and 10 now on the Knights 29. On the carry, bursting through one tackle, and the ball is loose. Stripped out by Stephen Lewis. Knights not able to capitalize, though. Ends up as a 1-yard gain. 3rd and 9 here now for the Huskies. Eyeing deep, nearly hit down the middle and can't complete the pass, but flags flying in every direction late there. Was trying to find Brady Shuck. So on 3rd and 9 here, we'll take a look at the white hat. Pass interference on the defense. So had Hamilton trapped there on 3rd and long. And now it turns into a first down. A 15-yard penalty now puts the Hamilton Huskies into the red zone. A fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 here on the Knights' 14-yard line. Fake. Marchio cuts down the middle, eyed the end zone, but got taken down at the last minute by Britt Fleming. So a touchdown-saving tackle there as Marchio was trying to head on to the end zone. That will be enough for a first down, though. A 10-yard gain moves up the Huskies to the 4-yard line. Trying to score here on drive number 1. Handoff. Clemente burst straight through into the end zone, and the Huskies are first on the board. It's a 4-yard touchdown run. Ronnie Clemente picks up rushing touchdown number 6 on the season. Extra point is up, and the extra point is punched through. Just like that. Jackson Hayes able to put it up through the uprights. 65-yard drive to open up the game. Rodney Clemente puts the Huskies up on the board first. So it only took 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock for Hamilton to get up on the board here in the first quarter of play. And now Darren Jackson ready to kick it back on off to the Higley Knights for the first time tonight. The Knights will be on offense. Colton Allen back to receive this kick. Alongside him is Carter Hancock. Hancock gets under it at the 6-yard line. Room to run, but gets clobbered just before the 20-yard line. A great wrap up there, cutting in. Tay Brown, the sophomore, on the special team stop, and that will push the Knights. They'll start things off here on their 20-yard line, and this will bring out the California commit, Kai Milner. The senior QB, 12 touchdowns on the season. Just over 1,300 passing yards, a couple of rushes into the end zone. Even received one in the end zone as well this year. Opening it up with a handoff and stopped by a brick wall of Huskies. First one there is Russell Davis. A loss of 2 yards. A great job there by the Hamilton defensive line. Not just putting up a brick wall, but putting it on wheels and moving it forward. 2nd and 12 now on the way here from their own 18. Milner and the Knights looking for a positive play on 2nd down. Rolling, searching. Tried to go by himself, shoved out of bounds by Jacob Medina. That is another loss. Chris Trojan there. Milner here on 3rd and a mile on the opening drive. 3rd and 15 from the 15. Searching, hit as he throws. A flag is up on the field. Russell Davis gained into the backfield for the stop. But we'll see what the White Hat calls here. Holding on the offense. So they will take the incomplete pass on that. The penalties decline. 4th down coming up. And it is a 3 and out here for the Husky defense to open up their first series of the night. Jack Howell back to return here for Hamilton. He's only about 5 yards behind midfield. Milner, the quarterback here, to punt it on off for the Higley Knights. Kicks off way on over to the Hamilton sideline, or Higley sideline, excuse me. So we'll see where this ball gets marked, but it will be phenomenal field position here for the Hamilton Huskies. We only have 2 snaps of it. They decided to heat you up. So good for them. So the Knights having to punt the ball out after a 5-yard loss on their opening drive of the night. With 8:27 to go in quarter number 1, the Knights will pick things up on the Higley 35. Showing coverage First and 10 for Marchio and the Huskies. Fake handoff to Clemente. Good read there by Marchio, able to run up to the 29-yard line. A 4-yard gain there. The Huskies had a couple chances there to pounce, but were unable to take advantage. Looks like an official timeout here. Hamilton Husky had to come off the field. Nico Marchio, brief run there. Last week, though, it was all about throwing it in the air. Set the school record for completions in a game against Highland. 31 passes completed. A phenomenal outing. This time looking to sling it down the middle. Connects. Be enough for a first down there on the catch by Christian Anaya. Marchio 31 for 35 last week against Hamilton. 352 passing yards. And that allowed 5 receivers to accumulate over 40 yards apiece. A great day to be a Hamilton receiver. Though it seems like with this junior transfer from Colorado, it seems like every Friday night seems like a great day to be a Hamilton receiver. Another Hamilton player having to come off the field. Might just be an equipment malfunction, if you will. Having to slide in and out a couple players. Nonetheless, though, it's again 1st and 10. Hamilton on the Higley 25. Marchio under center. Handoff, Clemente. Dragged down after a short gain by Chase Davis. So Coach Sadepsky still feeding a little bit of the ground game here in drive number 2. 65-yard drive last time for Hamilton to get into the end zone. Punched in by a 4-yard run by Clemente. 2nd and 6 here on the Higley 21. Again, out from under center. Clemente bursts through a hole. Tap dancing towards the end zone and gets stopped a couple yards short. Showing off some athleticism. A 19-yard run by Clemente. And now it's 1st and goal here for the Huskies. Marchio under center again. Clemente gets stuffed, trying to fight his way through. Might have even gained a couple yards on that. One of the first ones to get there, Hendrik Kupu, the senior captain, able to get his hands on Clemente there, but unable to bring him down very quickly. Gains at least a little bit here. 2nd and goal from the 2 now for Hamilton. Marchio now a few steps behind his center. Clemente gets fed again and finds his way into the end zone again. 2nd time tonight for the senior Rodney Clemente in the end zone to make it 13-0 for the Huskies. Halfway through quarter number 1. And for the 2nd time tonight, the Huskies ready to attempt a point after. So here's number 91, not on our Max Preps rosters. Extra point is up, and the extra point is good. The normal kicker is Jacob Medina. I believe Chris Trojan has taken his number. So it's a 14-0 game here for the Hamilton Huskies. And so far it has been all about the ground game, and a couple of short runs into the end zone for Clemente. Has increased his total of the year from 5 touchdowns to 7 touchdowns. And so far, so good. For the number 24 nationally ranked Hamilton Huskies, looking for their 6th straight win to open the season. Just one more to go next week against Chandler. That game, the Battle of Arizona Avenue, will be on ESPNU. Darren Jackson ready to kick it back off to the Knights once again. Colton Allen, Roman Kupu back to receive. Kupu picks it up right around the 15. Trying to navigate traffic but gets shoved back. Preston Sladen, the sophomore, finds his way to the white jersey and will put a stop to that return. This time slightly better field position, starting from the 24-yard line. So far, we're just over 6 minutes through this game. Time of possession has been about even. Hamilton hasn't needed more than 3 minutes to score on either drive. Finding a nice sized hole here is Colton Allen, able to pick up about 5 yards. Last time out of the gate for Higley, their opening drive turned into a -5 gain before they had to punt that off in a 3-and-out. So their first play of a gain here, 2nd and 5 now from the 24. Or excuse me, from the 29. Milner, good slant here and caught by Carter Hancock. Good enough for the first down of the game for the Higley Knights and able to bring it up to the 40-yard line. Gets brought down. First on the scene was Austin Ruddle. So Milner and the Knights beginning to advance the ball here in quarter number 1. 5 minutes remain in the first quarter. Huskies up 14-0. Handoff again and gets absolutely pummeled at the line of scrimmage, and a flag comes in after the play as well. No gain that time for Colton Allen. Ruddle on the tackle again. A sideline warning here on Hamilton. So that is no negative play at the very least. And they'll call this a loss of 1. So 2nd and 11 on the way now for the Huskies. So just a sideline warning. The second time that will be a loss of yards. 2nd and 11 here from the 39. Another handoff, this time finding a sizable hole for Allen, but brought down by Ruddle once again. Only able to collect about 2 more yards, and that makes it 3rd down on the way. Third and 9 for Milner and the Knights. Second drive of the game, trying to break through midfield. Searching, under pressure, completes the pass, and that's good enough for a first down. Carter Hancock, the sophomore, reels it in. That's another Higley first down, and for the first time tonight, the Knights meet midfield. Fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 right on midfield here for Milner and the Knights. 5 out here for the senior. And a few Knights are going to jump. Mustard hits the field. So some free yards here for Higley on the offsides. The Hamilton defense takes 5 yards back. 1st and 5 now on the way for Milner. Faking the handoff, navigating through the defensive line, picks up a first down, 7-yard gain from the quarterback, Kai Milner. So after an abysmal first drive for the Knights, picking up yards here, started this drive on the 24 of their own side of the field. Now moving up On to the Hamilton 38. 1st and 10 here for the offense for the Knights. Pressure comes, evades the pocket, fires a dart. Completed, trying to make some fancy footwork, but Truett Robinson eventually gets brought down after about a 14-yard gain. Move those chains once again. Knights down 14-0. Clock rolling on down to 3:20 to go here in the first. But the Knights finally able to find some sort of rhythm. 1st and 10 here. Knights now on the 24. First and 10 on the Hamilton 23. Milner lobs, caught. Allen picking up another fair burst of yards. Shoved out of bounds by Noah Schmidt. Three-yard gain for the first time tonight. The Higley Knights are in the red zone. Second and 6 on the 20-yard line now. Milner sets target. Fires, overshoots though, was trying to find Carter Hancock. Zach Lewis for the Huskies on coverage there, and it brings up 3rd down for the Knights. For the first time tonight, the Knights finding a rhythm, but now stuck on 3rd and 6 here on the 20. Milner looking to convert, finds pressure, escapes the pocket, runs on his own, picks up the first down, and jumps forward to move inside the 10-yard line. Phenomenal athleticism there from the quarterback, Kai Milner, getting the Knights in position here to get on the scoreboard. Big 3rd down conversion. First and goal for Higley. On the 9-yard line, Milner under center, hands it off. Trying to turn the corner, being held by the jersey. Jack Howell able to at least make some sort of stop there. Roman Kupu there on the rush. Just the young sophomore. Him and his 2 brothers on this varsity roster. Milner under center again. 2nd and goal from the 5. Handoff. Not able to burst through too much the defensive line. This goes to Handra Kupu. So a short gain of 2 yards. 3rd and goal here for the Knights. Huskies trying to keep that donut up on the scoreboard. Milner and Allen in the backfield. 3rd and goal on the 3. Man in his face throws the end zone and incomplete. Forcing the pressure and the throw, it's Russell Davis. Gain into the backfield, and it is 4th down Knights. Coach Zuby leaving his offense out on the field. Standing on the Huskies 3-yard line, the Huskies fans on their feet. Under a minute to go here in the first. It's 4th and goal here for Higley. Milner fires a dart. Touchdown for the Higley Knights, finally getting up on the board. Truett Robinson, touchdown number 8 on the season. With just 44 seconds remaining, Knights able to get onto the scoreboard. Gave that look for going for 2. Instead, they will go for the extra point here. It's Connor Olson, 14 for 15 on point afters this year. Puts it up, puts it in. And the Knights, a productive second drive, although it took almost the entire second half of the first quarter. A 14-7 game here. Huskies up ahead. It took 5 minutes and 10 seconds off the clock. Almost half of the quarter. But Higley gets onto the scoreboard here, marching down 76 yards of the field to make it a 14-7 game. And now kicking it back off is Connor Olson. Howell receives it around the 10. Going through the bunch of Knights and able to trek his way all the way to the 39-yard line. An incredible return there by the senior captain, Jack Howell. So to open up drive number 3 here for the Hamilton Huskies, they'll open things up on their own 39. So far, it's been quite a bit of movement on the ground game. Able to move up down the field, and then a couple of short runs get the Huskies into the end zone for their first 2 scores of the game by Rodney Clemente. 1st and 10 here on the 39 for Nico Marchial. Dropping a bomb, one-handed grab, and completed by Trey Lockhart. What a grab by the senior receiver. 29-yard catch, one-handed. First and 10, cut down the middle, no one in front of him. It only takes 2 plays. Christian Anaya, touchdown number 4 on the year. In 25 seconds, the Hamilton Huskies worked their way 71 yards. 61 yards through 2 plays to score and make it a 20-7 game. Extra point is up, and the extra point is good. The Huskies take a 21-7 lead with 20 seconds before the end of the first quarter. Boy, just 25 seconds it took. The Hamilton Huskies on the board once again. Phenomenal grab from Trey Lockhart leads to the 30-yard reception to Christian Anaya. And once again, ready to kick it on off is Darren Jackson. Allen Kupu. Or excuse me, that's Hancock. Able to bring it up to about the 26-yard line. And they'll get one play off before the end of quarter number 1. One play for the Knights here in the first quarter. Maybe two if they plan it right here, but 1st and 10 on their own 26. Milner, an immediate roll, eyeing down the middle, floats it up and nearly reeled in there by Robinson. Some great coverage there, though, to break that up. Deshaun Buchanan, the sophomore there on coverage. 5 seconds remain here in quarter number 1.
They're trotting in there and dancing, and then the ball carrier's got to go in there and dance too because they run into a mess. So they need to set up.
So make it 2nd and 10 here on the 26. Milner over the offensive line and was slapped up into the air. Was trying to find Allen, but on the coverage there was Austin Ruddle, who might have slapped that ball up to make it 3rd down. And boy, I'm just an announcer, so what do I know? We're going to get a third play in here in the 19 seconds, the final 19 seconds of quarter number 1. Just 1 second remaining on the clock. So Milner and the Knights here on 3rd and 10 will try to convert to end quarter number 1. 3rd and 10 here on the 26. Milner. Great pocket awareness and a great grab on the sideline. Truett Robinson's catch.
If you direct your attention down to the field, we have special guests tonight. On October 29th, the Hamilton High School boys golf team came back from a 6-shot deficit following round 1 to win the 2020 Arizona Division I State Championship.
Right now on the field, Hamilton recognizing the 2020 Division I Boys Golf State Champions. Took a 12-stroke win after being down by, I believe what he said was 6 strokes. So able to recognize the boys golf team here at Hamilton. Quite a bit of success here just in 2020 for the Huskies. Obviously this state championship here. The Huskies 5-0 in football. And the Huskies, the number 2 seed in the 6A tournament for volleyball. They'll take on Liberty tomorrow. So at the end of quarter number 1, the Huskies able to put up 21 points. And so far, the Higley Knights just not quite able to find a way to slow down the Huskies. And it looks like that catch by Truett Robinson will be deemed incomplete. So to open up quarter number 2, it will be 4th and 10. So it looks like the punt crew will come out here. 2nd, 3 and out. So Milner will have to punt this ball out again. It's 4th and 10 here. Jack Howell back to receive this punt. right now just patiently waiting at about the 40. This time a good punt. It's a good bounce met by some Knights. Breaks tackles and has room down the sideline. Back up into Knight territory. And a great return there of nearly 20 yards on what was picking up the ball with the defender about 5 yards in front of him. This will be roughing the kicker here on Hamilton. So he erased that phenomenal return. But how about the awareness, though, to know exactly where those defenders are coming at you, about 5 yards in front of you, essentially just shoved away 3 Knights and trotted his way for about a 20-yard return. So on what was a 3-and-out, 4th down punt on the 26, turns into a fresh set of downs for Higley due to roughing the kicker, and it's 1st and 10 here on their own 41. Milner with a statue, but ball gets deflected, and it looks like that might have just been Russell Davis again. Batting that ball up in the air. Davis has been phenomenal on defense this year. 7 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. There's a swatted ball right there, and he has had a presence in the backfield tonight. Make it 2nd and 10 now here on the 41. Handoff. Allen pummeled at the line of scrimmage for no gain. You'll never believe who's in the bottom of the pile. It's Russell Davis. Make it 3rd and 10. So after the Knights' most productive drive of the night, they might have back-to-back 3-and-outs in a single drive. It's 3rd and 10 now on the 41. Fake. Milner eyes the field, sends a laser, caught, 1st down Knights. Brought in by Carter Hancock to move those chains on 3rd and 10. 24-yard gain on the reception. And now the Knights back up into Hamilton territory. Fresh set of downs here on the 35 of the Huskies. 10:53 to go in quarter number 2. Quick fire. Fires a dart, breaks a tackle. Inside the 20, eventually caught from behind, making chase with Zachary Lewis. But Carter Hancock moves the chains again for Higley. First and goal on the 8 for the Higley Knights. And this drive saved by roughing the kicker call on a 3-and-out, now with a chance to punch it back into the end zone. Fumble on the handoff on the turf, and the Huskies might have picked it up with Austin Ruddle gain into the backfield. But the officials will deem that Milner got back on that ball in time. 2nd down on the way. Ruddle with a burst of speed for Hamilton. Tried to get on that ball first. The officials deemed he did not. Nonetheless, a massive loss of yards. It's now 2nd and goal, pushed all the way back onto the 14-yard line. Milner rifles, but over the head of Carter Hancock. 3rd and goal now. Huskies with a 21-7 lead, 9:34 to go here in quarter number 2. Knights trying to get back on the board for a second time. Last time they trekked 76 yards downfield to do it. Milner facing pressure and overfires into the end zone, and it drops harmlessly on the turf. Flag down on the field. Offensive holding here on the Knights. So at one time, Higley had a manageable down and goal, trying to shrink this Husky lead down to 7. But now, move the Knights all the way back to the 29-yard line here. You don't hear this one often, folks. 3rd and goal from the 29 for Milner and the Knights. Fires. Phenomenal grabbing into the end zone. Truett Robinson. On 3rd and goal on the 29-yard line. Gets stopped just short of the end zone. A 28-yard gain. Or excuse me, they do call that a touchdown. My bad on that. A 29-yard touchdown to Truett Robinson on 3rd and goal. And I say you don't see that often. 1st and goal on the 29. You don't really see a 1st and goal score on that either. Milner gets stuck, throws the ball backwards. That's in play. You can score points on this. Cole Martin takes it back into the end zone. Yeah, I'm not sure what the rule is in high school, if that's technically called dead or not.
Coach Z, can you go coach those return, the back end of the return?
So we'll see what the officials deem it here. Arizona high school football has its own rules on that. For the most part, when it comes to special teams in Arizona high school, most special teams play is dead more often than not whenever a ball hits the turf at any point. So sometimes in the NFL, they'll give you a point for that. But I believe here that this will be ruled a dead ball. Regardless, Higley had an opportunity to cut this deficit down to 7. Instead, the advantage here is 8 points. Yeah, the official will rule this no good on the extra point, I guess is what you say to the undelightful crowd here at Hamilton. Not happy with that. They wanted that extra point. That would actually make it a 2-possession game. So that would actually be very beneficial, but instead, the rules in Arizona high school football will not allow for that. So with 9:18 remaining here in quarter number 2, the Knights will kick it back off, trailing by 8 points, 21-13. Olsen with the delivery wide off to the right. This ball gets picked up by Jackson Haynes. Gets a couple of good blocks and brings the ball up to about the 38-yard line. So Truett Robinson responsible for both touchdowns here by the Higley Knights in the first half. Still trailing, though, to the Huskies, who put up 21 in quarter number 1. Marchio and the Huskies looking for the sweep. Hamilton won the freshman game, also the JV game. Both games by over 40 points. Handoff here, punching through a hole. Open space in front, eventually gets stopped and brought down, but not before a massive gain there. Noah Schmidt bringing it into Hamilton, or Husky, into Knight territory. Fleming able to stop the bleeding on that. But now 1st and 10 on the 35 for Hamilton. Saying his sights. The lefty throw, and just a little bit too far in front of Zachary Lewis. Falls incomplete. Markio not happy over there on the sideline. Was hoping to convert that one. Markio nearing that 1,000-yard passing mark on the season. 2nd and 10 now on the 35. Fires a dart and connects. Brady Shuck to the end zone, and it's another Hamilton touchdown. So a nearly immediate answer by the Huskies to pick up another touchdown. This time, it's the 2nd touchdown of the year for Brady Shuck. And boy, is he pumped up on the sideline. There isn't anyone even near him, and he's just screaming and shouting. Excited to get back into the end zone, the senior. 8:37 remaining here. Another sideline warning here on Hamilton. That's their 2nd of the game. So count the points. 2nd time tonight. It's taken less than a minute for Hamilton to find the end zone. Extra point is up, and the extra point is good. After a phenomenal touchdown of their own, the Higley Knights have to come back out onto the field. Following a 35-yard bomb, Brady Shuck taking it to the house after the catch from Markio. The Huskies lead this one by 15 points. And for those of you Pac-12 fans, I know that there isn't a lot right now because there hasn't been very many games. But nonetheless, you may know the Shuck name. You might just know him. Could sound familiar because his older brother, Tyler Shuck, starting quarterback for Oregon this past Saturday, went 17 for 26, over 200 passing yards, a touchdown through the air, and a touchdown on the ground rushing against Stanford. I got to talk to Coach Sadepski about that performance, and quite frankly, Coach Sadepski said that was a kind of expected out of Tyler. By no means was Coach Sadepski surprised there by the success. The former Husky, now Oregon Duck. And Shuck might have plenty more opportunities on his hands in the coming years at the University of Oregon. 8:37 remains here in quarter number 2, and the Huskies once again kick it off. A floater. Oh, a great drop, a great roll, but nonetheless, Hamilton will get this ball just past the 25. Higley, excuse me. I keep confusing my H teams. So last drive for the Knights, it was a 3-and-out. They had to punt it off, but Hamilton gets flagged for roughing the kicker. That gave Higley new life, was able to get it all the way up to just a few yards in goal. A variety of miscues and penalties moved them back to 3rd and goal from the 29, which they score from. Now they'll have to bring that energy back again here in this drive in the second quarter. So you erase just a little bit of that 15-point deficit. Hand off to Allen and immediately gets stopped by Mo Sarnowski. So Sarnowski there on the stuff, right on the line of scrimmage. And it seems like it's just been a few too many times tonight so far that Higley is starting their second down from either behind the chains or still sitting on the line of scrimmage. Milner finds pressure, evades, escapes the pocket, picks up a first down and looking for more. Kai Milner into Hamilton territory, a massive run after being absolutely getting a facial from Russell Davis, hopping into the backfield. A 32-yard run, and Milner brings his Knights up into Hamilton territory. A fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 for Higley here on the Hamilton 39-yard line. Milner been working just a little bit of magic here on Friday the 13th. More pressure. Fires a dart, connects down the sideline, and finally shoved out of bounds. A lot of time there for O'Reilly and Kupu. The youngest of the Kupus there. And you can tell a little short there, just 5'8", but still a bulky 159 pounds. The youngest of the 3 Kupus on this varsity roster. 2 very heavily contributing freshmen on this Higley roster. And a flag comes down on the field. And this time it will go on the Knights. That drops one of the HHS's 5 yards. Both HHS's tonight have had 1 infraction there on the line of scrimmage. There's actually both these teams out on the field, the offense for Higley and the defense for Hamilton. Make it 1st and 15 now on the 32 here for Milner and the Knights. Evaluating the field. Sends a laser, nearly tipped and intercepted. Was trying to find Hancock. There's a flag on the field. Strong coverage there from Jack Howell. Also assisting there in coverage, it looked like Buchanan. Holding here called on Higley. And that will drop the Knights back even further. Not the first time it's been a hike on over to the mark to gain. Make it 1st and about the 11 miles between Hamilton and Higley. Under pressure and brought down in the backfield. Grant DeGraffenried. Sack number 2 on the season for the junior. DeGraffenried sends the Knights back into their own territory. And this makes it just 2nd down and absolutely forever. I'm not even going to bother counting that much. So I'm just going to go by the scoreboard saying it's 2nd and 36. Milner on the screen. Robinson able to bring it back into Husky territory, but they're not even halfway to the line to gain. And after the play, a flag over on the Higley sideline. Zach Lewis on the stop there for the Huskies. We'll see what this late flag is all about here from the White Hat.
Zach's over there talking shit. He's yapping.
So the penalty was called, but the official's still in the discussion over near the Higley bench. And it looks like the white hat will address the crowd once more. So a little bit of confusion here as the Higley Knights are trying to get back into the end zone for the third time tonight. Milner and the Knights have mostly been doing this through the air. Great 29-yard bomb on 3rd and goal to score on their last drive. Was that an ejection? So 2 penalties on the Huskies here. And the officials, I think this is why it's taking so long. Zachary Lewis may have just been ejected from this ball game. When you see a white hat with his thumbs up and then makes that motion behind him, as long as that's actually what I saw there. So those 2, I believe, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties will take the Knights into the red zone now. And it is now 1st and 10 for the Higley Knights on the Hamilton 15-yard line. And that can change the complexity of this quarter. 6:23 remains in the half, and it's a 15-point Husky lead. 1st and 10 on the 15. Looked for the screen, but got pummeled in the backfield. 2nd sack of the game for the Huskies, and it's Austin Ruddle picking up number 5 on the year. And that will set back Higley 7 yards. 2nd and 17 now coming up. The Knights now set back on about the 23. Allen on the rush. Tap dancing his way enough to get back to the original line of scrimmage. About an 8-yard gain there from Colton Allen. So make it 3rd down and just right on the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10 here from the 15. Milner looking back to the sideline. Screen. Off to the sideline. Ian Sear. Gets taken down there by Deshaun Buchanan. And this brings up 4th down inside the 10-yard line for Higley. And it looks like they will bring out the kicker, Connor Olson. Now, this is where things get tricky. Higley is 3-3. They are 8 spots out right now, not including the open bids to get into this year's tournament. And the holder for this field goal is your Division I bound quarterback, Kai Milner. This here is a 25-yard attempt. The field goal is up, and the field goal is good. So not able to capitalize on the double unsportsmanlike conduct call. Puts up just 3 points on the board and now trails the Hamilton Huskies by 12. It's a 28-16 ball game here, 4:16 remaining in the first half of play. Well, halftime will be interesting for every team in the state. Halftime has just been weird. When we have halftime called and the buzzer sounds, you will see the Higley Knights walk about 50 yards to their left in the corner of their end zone. That's their timeout huddle. As for the Huskies, they will head down to the left side as well down to the other side of the field. That is their locker room. I was able to talk with head coach of the Chandler Wolves, Rick Garrettson, earlier this year. I know you Hamilton fans do not want to hear me talking about this, but nonetheless.
They'll know exactly what we're talking about. You guys, say ball off a tee.
But Coach Garrettson was talking about it almost feels like you're playing Pop Warner again. Just sitting on over at the end of the end zone in their field.
It's set up normal. No, it doesn't matter. It's set up normal with Coach C. Need a guy that can help down there.
Connor Olson on the kickoff. Brought down at about the 13. Finding a hole, moving past the 35, and a good return there by Cole Martin. So Nico Marchio back out onto the field. 1st and 10 here, starting off on his own 37. 12-point advantage here. Chance to close out the half, although this team typically takes less than 2 minutes to score so far. Bursting through a hole down the middle through the throat of Higley, and another massive game for Rodney Clemente. About a 23-yard gain. And the Higley Knights will take a timeout. Well, we'll take a quick break here, bring you back for the remainder of quarter number 2 in the second half. Will be coming up just shortly after that. A 28-16 lead here for the Hamilton Huskies. Their offense now 1st and 10 on the Knights' 42-yard line. Marchio has been absolutely fantastic, though this team is mostly scoring through their ground game. Marchio has done some on the ground himself right here, a screen pass, and trying to pummel over the defender. Trey Lockhart picks up a few extra yards. Easton on the stop there for the Higley Knights. Pickup of about 5 yards. Second and 5 now. Huskies on the 37 of the Higley Knights. Issues there on the fake handoff. Marchio just plows through the middle and picks up the first down and then some. The junior quarterback, also a captain on this team, voted on by his peers, transferred just this offseason from Colorado, and Coach Sadepski attributes his peers voting him a captain just because he came in, he competed, he communicated, he did all the things that a leader should be doing. And so they voted this transfer junior as a captain of this Hamilton Husky team. And he has showed off all year long that communication and that stout talent. Here whipping one to the sideline and connecting with Brady Shuck. And it's another Hamilton first down, back-to-back plays to move the chains. Shuck with that touchdown earlier of 35 yards. And just like that, the Huskies inside the red zone again. 1st and 10 now on the 17-yard line. Hand it off. Tried to crush through the middle. Brought down, though, by Quentin Crosby. Another few yards, though, by Rodney Clemente. Just a couple yards short of the mark to gain. 2nd and 2 on the way here. Marchio under center here. 2nd and 2 on the 17. Handoff. Clemente tried to turn the corner. Met by a white jersey, though. Pickup of a couple of yards before being brought down by Ivani Leverett, excuse me. Just shy of the mark to gain, though. Makes it 3rd down and 1. Huskies 3rd and 1 on the 9. Under center. Handoff. Clemente turns the corner. Enough for the first down, but can't reach the end zone. Leverett's alongside the freshman Orion Kupu on the takedown. But that turns it into 1st and goal here for the Huskies. First and goal here on the 4. Marchio. Ball gets fumbled out of bounds. Making chase there for the Higley Knights is Quentin Crosby. Gain of 1 yard. So 2nd and goal coming up, and now on the 3-yard line. Marchio under center. Handoff, pushing through, muscling into the end zone. Waiting for the call. And they will mark that just short. So Clemente can't burst his way through. Hamilton will take a timeout. 38 seconds remaining here in the first half. Ready for some halftime entertainment from your band, who had their senior night tonight. The football team had senior night earlier this year, but before the game, the band members and their family were all recognized on the field tonight. They'll make one last performance for everyone here on the final home game of the 2020 season. Coming up next for the Huskies, it's the Battle of Greenway Avenues. They will head on over to Chandler. That won't be on the Husky stream. That won't be on the Chandler stream. That's going to be on ESPNU, part of the Geico Bowl Series, a phenomenal game that will be on national television. Excited for that. The Huskies, the 7-time state champions, 7-time state runner-ups. A win against Chandler would make a ginormous statement. The Huskies already beating Saguaro earlier this year on ESPN2, the team that took them out in the Open 8 last year in the semifinals. 3rd and goal on the 1-yard line here for the Hamilton Huskies. Marchio with Clemente beside him. Clemente's bursted through for a touchdown a couple times tonight. On the pass, good coverage there on defense. The Higley Knights put a stop to it with Britt Fleming. And that will bring up 4th down. Fleming with the ball batted down in the end zone. And Coach Sadepski will leave his offense out on the field on 4th and goal from the 1. And this here will be a timeout for Higley. Wanted to see what Coach Sadepski and the Huskies were going to do a formation here. Timeouts reset in 34 seconds on the game clock, so might as well use one of those timeouts and see what kind of formation you might be able to stop here If the Knights are able to bat down another ball or make another goal line stop, it will be a turnover on downs. Now, taking over on the 1 yard line is never the best aspect of the game, but at the very least, you won't allow 6 or 7 more points up on the board. So we talk about what's coming up next here for the Huskies. Coming off their worst season in program history 2 years ago, the first season under Mike Zdebski as the head coach. The only losing season in Hamilton history. They went 3-7, and the very next year, they're one of the top 8 teams in the state, a nationally recognized program, and makes it into the semifinals for the ultimate state championship in Arizona with a 9-3 season, nearly beating the Saguaro SaberCats, and also took down a perennial powerhouse Centennial. So last year, the Huskies proved that they were back to fight for a state championship, and now looking for their 8th undefeated season in program history. 4th and goal on the 1. 3 stacked up on the right. Marchio. Screen, fire, flag down on the field. So that ball was caught by Christian Anaya, who scored earlier the final seconds of the first quarter. I didn't see an official make the touchdown sign here. They had them all clustered on the right side, 3 receivers. Offensive interference. And so you can't necessarily decline that, because then that would be a touchdown. So instead, the Huskies will back themselves up, and it looks like the field goal unit will come out here on 4th down. So a 15-yard penalty. That makes it 4th and goal from the 16. And now the Huskies are just looking to put 3 up on the board, just like Higley did just moments ago. There's been a number change. I believe that this is Jacob Medina here, who's 3 for 5 this year on field goals. This line drive is going to land no good. It's a turnover on downs. And that was a 34-yard attempt. So the Knights will have 24 seconds to see if they can make a miracle drive to end the half, down by 12 points. It could be worse. The Higley defense stands up Hamilton at the goal line, and then once the Huskies are able to get the ball into the end zone, they get called for offensive pass interference and miss the field goal. So it could be much worse, but the Higley defense steps up. They will receive to start the second half. So 1st and goal here. Milner has his offense starting off on the 20. Handoff bursting through the middle. And Colton Allen is able to pick up a few yards. Say about a gain of 6 or 7 here. 2nd down on the way. And the Knights will let the clock drain out to end the half. After 24 minutes of action, Higley makes a couple of good defensive stops, but it's the 21 points posted in the first quarter by Hamilton making the difference right now. The Huskies lead the way 28-16 at the end of half number 1. Be sure to stick around here watching Hamilton Husky football. It's the final performance here at home for the Hamilton Band in the regular season. Of course, so the Huskies hoping to bring a home game in, potentially the Open 8, ranked 3rd right now by the AIA in the Open 8. So we'll take a break. Coming up here, it is your Hamilton Band. Well, the Hamilton Huskies looking for win number 6 on the season. It would earn them their 8th undefeated regular season in program history and first since 2011. Welcome back to Hamilton Husky football here as they take on the Higley Knights. Right now it's a 12-point advantage heading into quarter number 2. 28-16 lead for the Huskies. Well, it's been quite a year shutting out perennial powerhouse Centennial to open the year. 42-point win against Perry, defeating Saguaro, the team that knocked Hamilton out of the Open 8. On ESPN2, over 20-point win against Desert Vista, and last week a 20-point win on the road against Highland, where Nico Marchio broke the school record for the most pass completions in a single game, went 31 for 35, and now looking for win number 6 before they head to the Battle of Arizona Avenue, looking to complete an undefeated season. The Huskies will open up the second half on offense, and it looks like they're going to play this dead. I think Truett Robinson was going to lead that there, but an offsides here called on the kickoff. So we're going to kick this ball off once more. The Higley Knights, they're 3-3 in their first season. The biggest conference in terms of school size, and also for the most part talent as well, in the AIA and in Arizona. 3-3 normally isn't bad when you're lost to teams like Castile, Chandler, Williamsfield, but it is when the AIA is only taking 8 teams into the 6A tournament. Right now ranked at 16th, Higley has to make some magic to be one of the 8 teams to move on. Yeah, a few teams in 6A will be sent to the Open 8. But how many will allow the Knights to jump into the 6A tournament? Last year, they were the number 3 seed in 5A, beat Ironwood in the first round, but lost in the quarterfinals against the eventual state runner-up Campo Verde. Now having to kick off from the 35. The return gets fumbled by Hancock. And even though an offsides was called, this might have ended up even better for Hamilton. So Hancock is able to get control of that ball. And Higley will have to start off here on their own 27-yard line. Well, the Knights have certainly made the quick move up. It was just back in 2017 that they were in 4A, lost in the state semis to Saguaro, nearly beat the SaberCats in overtime. They moved up to 5A, up to 6A, and talking to Coach Zuby, he said when it comes from 6A to 4A, the difference on the field isn't that different, at least for them. The biggest difference has just been the depth. When it comes to the amount of players that play on the field, the biggest difference between his team back in 2017 and his team today, it's just that there's more productive players at every position. He said the teams that really this doesn't benefit is the JV and the freshman team. They have to take on these players at some of these bigger schools who, on teams that they used to play, would at least be backups in some of these positions. Instead, they're playing JV or freshmen. So JV and freshman teams with some very difficult losses. Good completed pass here to Ian C. are able to pick up the first down for the Knights. But in the end, Coach Zuby says, hey, there's talented kids every year on varsity. It's just going to stay that way. The most difficult part is keeping some of the kids who have never played football before on the freshman and JV level into the game after taking some massive losses. You look at just against the Hamilton Huskies, who have a phenomenal farmhouse growing up. Freshmen beat Higley 66-21. JV beat Higley 49-6. So Coach Zuby just wants to make sure that some of those young players want to stick it out and try to earn enough to get onto varsity and have that talent to move on up through the ranks. Screen pass here. Try and tiptoe his way around. Will pick up about 3 or 4 yards for Truett Robinson. So Milner getting some yardage here passing. Last week was 16 for 27 against Cedar Chavez, threw for nearly 200 yards, picked up another 67 rushing as well. 2 minutes through here in quarter number 3. 2nd and 7 here. Pitches it forward, but quickly brought down. Allen couldn't do anything because wrapping him up was Chandler Davis, the sophomore defensive tackle. No gain on the play, makes it 3rd and 7 here. Third and 7 on their own 44, trying to keep up some momentum from that first half through halftime. Milner, pressure in his face, throws it, just mistimes the jump, and Robinson can't bring it down, and it is 4th down. Cole Martin on the coverage for Hamilton. And now Milner will have to punt it away here on 4th down. Higley only had the ball for 2.5 minutes. And now we'll have to send it back on over to Jack Howell, back to receive this punt, and the rest of the Huskies. And a halftime update for you guys. Obviously, Chandler versus Hamilton next week, a big game. Chandler is facing the team who Hamilton beat last week, the Highland Hawks. Chandler only a 8-point lead over Highland. This punt flies in the air, takes a phenomenal bounce for Higley all the way back to about the 16-yard line. So Higley was able to make a decent defensive stop at the end of the half. A goal line stop and then a missed field goal by Hamilton. Leaved Higley some hope since they were receiving here in the second half, down by 12. But now they deliver the ball back to Nico Marchio and the Hamilton offense. Now the 2022 player, ranked 2nd in the entire Arizona 2022 class, according to 24/7 Sports. Back up on offense. Handoff here, trying to find an edge to turn around. Will pick up a couple of yards. Schmidt, a short gain. Leverett makes the stop for the Higley Knights. Still a 4-yard gain, though. 2nd and 6 here on the Hamilton 20 for the Huskies. Marchio scanning, fires, intercepted. It's the freshman, Orion Kupu. 2nd interception of the year to flip the field on the Huskies. One of the 3 Kupu brothers on this varsity roster. This one, the youngest, the freshman, picking off the future Division I prospect. So after a painful opening drive to open up the second half, Higley with an interception given new life here, and we'll start off on the Hamilton 24. Handoff, Allen met immediately and stuffed. Bursting through the line, Chandler Davis, the sophomore, getting it done in the backfield again. A 3-yard Higley loss. 2nd and 13 now. On the Hamilton 27, Milner there looked like was trying to get Hamilton to jump and then gets a surprise snap. And what a catch, what a bring down. Truett Robinson into the end zone again. 3rd time tonight in 3 different corners. Truett Robinson puts Higley back up on the board, and it's a 1-possession game. And now it looks like Higley might even consider going for 2. They'll swing everyone back. Still have to be concerned that that future Cal Golden Bear is the holder here. But Connor Olson will attempt to deliver the extra point. And that gets blocked. I believe that might have been Camden Haggard. With the extra point block. Or it might have been actually the PA announcer saying Captain Victor Zayas, the senior, with the extra point block to keep the Higley deficit at 6 points here in the third quarter. But the Knights sticking around. It's an interception from the freshman Orion Kupu to flip the field, and then Truett Robinson into the end zone for the third time tonight. Well, the Knights are keeping this one close. Their 3 losses this year, a massive loss to Chandler at home, 63-7. Their other 2 losses, though, by 1 point to Castile, by 1 point to Williamsfield, and now here in the third quarter trying to hang in with the Hamilton Huskies. Connor Olson with the kickoff. A wide slant. It bounces on the other side of the field. Bringing it back. Jack Howell able to bring it past the 40. So after the INT, Hamilton will get the ball back after the Higley touchdown on the 45-yard line. Their own 45 with just under 8 to play here in quarter number 3. First and 10 on their own 45. Marchio moving around Clemente a little bit. Looking for the screen. Carries himself, but wrapped up and brought down. No gain on the play. And taking him down, number 58, is Colton Kramer. Leading the team in tackles for loss. And is the only Higley player to rack up a sack on the season. Makes it now 2nd and 10 for Hamilton on their own 45. Marchio wants to take it again and taken down again. And once again, it's Colton Kramer. Colin Kramer with the sack. And this time a loss of 1. Third and 11 here on the 44 now for Hamilton. Marchio sees pressure again, and it's brought down for the 3rd time in a row. Colin Kramer, this time alongside Roman Kupu. The sophomore this time on the help, and that brings up 4th down. 3 straight plays with a quarterback hit for Higley. That will force the Huskies to punt this ball off, coming to the halfway mark here in quarter number 3. Medina to punt it off. Robinson lets it bounce once, twice, and starts to roll out of bounds back the other direction. So Hamilton will pick that ball up. 2 back-to-back phenomenal defensive series by Higley. They were able to convert on the last one, but now they will have to start this series off offensively on their own 23. Only down by 6. This could change the game for the Higley Knights. First and 10 for Kai Milner and the Knights. Allen carries. Brought down quickly. Austin Ruddle alongside Victor Zayas on the stop. Loss of 1 yard. Makes it 2nd and 11 now. Second and 11 on their own 21. Milner hit as he throws. And that ball is caught. Carter Hancock able to bring that ball down for a first down. Move those chains. Higley with a burst of momentum here after a horrendous opening drive offensively to begin the second half. Defensive stops and a couple of big offensive plays have changed the tide for Higley. Down by 6 right now with under 5 to play in the third quarter. First and 10 here on the Higley 42. Knights try to hand it off here, and Allen gets stuffed for another loss on the opening play. This time into the backfield, Elijah Sobas, the senior, stepping in the way. A 3-yard loss on the play. 2nd and 13 here from the 39 of the Knights. Faking it, chased, and throws it away. Nearly got it to Ian Sear, but goes out of bounds. 3rd down and long. And the Hamilton crowd gain into it on defense. 3rd and 13 from the Higley 39. Milner looks to throw. Sends a little dart, overthrows though, and it is 4th down. So Hamilton makes a defensive stand there to stop any more bleeding. Higley had an opportunity there to tie or take the lead with only a 6-point deficit. Now Hamilton is ready to return another Higley punt. Milner back to punt it off. He's standing at about the 25. Back to receive this ball, Cole Martin, the sophomore. And a whistle and a flag. An incredible punt that went all the way to the opposing 20. That would have been a good one there for Martin to return. He would have had already a head of steam on him, but stop a play here. Too many men on the field for the Hamilton Huskies. 5-yard penalty. It will still be 4th down for Milner to punt, but now it's 4th and 8. Howell is now back to receive this punt, and it looks like a Husky got a hand on it. It looked like Alonzo Tehran might have been able to get a hand on it. And that will help out the Huskies with field position here. They will mark this ball just in between the 35 and the 40. But now the Husky offense needs to compose themselves. One drive with a couple of sacks, had to punt it off. And then a drive with a major interception. Marchio back out on the field, 1st and 10 on his own 37. Keeps it. A great fake. Navigating traffic. Nico Marchio, turn on the Jets. A 63-yard touchdown on the fake. I didn't see a flag down, but the officials are huddling. There might have been a flag on the other side of the field. Now, I could be wrong. I'm just one guy, but I don't even see a flag on the field. Here's the white hat. So we erase the phenomenal touchdown by Nico Marchio. Now we're working on rotating the footballs out. Okay, so now we're going to have another meeting. Some confusion here with what footballs we're supposed to be using. They might have had footballs on the wrong sidelines, apparently. But take away that touchdown run by Marchio of 63 yards. 1st and 10 here on the 37. And another whistle and flags down on the field. Boy, this might just be the longest play of my life. Illegal motion here on Hamilton. That will set them back again. 3:39 remaining here in quarter number 3. Huskies trying to remain perfect. Higley fighting for their playoff lives. It's only a 6-point ball game right now. And now it is 1st and 15 from the Hamilton 33. Schmidt on the carry. No, excuse me. Marchio fakes again. Gets past the original line of scrimmage. And nearly to the yard to gain. A gain of about 11 yards. Bursting through a defender. And now moves up onto their own 44. 2nd and 3 here for the Huskies. Marchio fakes it. Good read. 1st down on the run. Still up on his feet. Trying to stiff arm and works his way all the way past the 35. $23-yard gain for the junior quarterback. 1st and 10 now on the Higley 33. Another fake to Schmidt. This time after a couple of yards, gets stuffed by Kupu, Orion Kupu. Gain of about 4 yards. 2nd and 6 here. Second and 6. Hamilton on their own 29. Or excuse me, on the Higley 29. Under pressure, Schmidt is able to catch it and picks up about 2 or 3 yards. Markio did a great job getting... Oh, and an extremely late flag coming from behind the Higley secondary. And this is... I mean, the play was more than completed. And this is another unsportsmanlike conduct. So that's a 15-yard penalty. So what was third and manageable now is third and a mile. Back-to-back unsportsmanlike conduct calls is what got Zachary Lewis ejected in the first half of this game. Fortunately for Hamilton, just a single one here. The coach is on the sideline trying to get an explanation. That flag was long after the completion of that play. And we have some confusion here on the sidelines. So the officials have it listed as fourth down. Both teams are going to take a moment here to use this as an artificial timeout. I don't believe either team did call timeouts. The officials just trying to figure out exactly what's going on the field. Well, glad to have everyone along with us watching some Hamilton Husky football here as they take on the Higley Knights. Hamilton 5-0 on the season, looking to get back to the second Open Division Championship. The Higley Knights 3-3. Only 8 teams will go to every Conference State Championship tournament, and the Knights are 8 spots out right now, not counting any teams moving into the Open 8. But nonetheless, Higley needs to move up quite a few spots to be in those 8 teams going to the 6A state tournament. A win against Hamilton would go a long way to help them get in. A loss against Higley would do a lot to hurt Hamilton. I don't know if it would be enough to put them out of the Open 8. You look at other teams like Sunrise Mountain, who's in the Open 8 right now with a pair of losses. You just have to wait and see how the algorithm will rank it and how the committee will vote it. 3rd and 17 here. And now Hamilton on the Higley 41. A long conversion attempt on 3rd down for Markio and the Huskies. Hands off to Schmidt late, evades one tackle, evades another. Eventually gets just short of the original line of scrimmage. So Schmidt does a great job tap dancing around the defense. But a 6-yard pickup doesn't do much here with 4th down on the way. Coach Sadepski leaves his offense out on the field. 4th and 11 here on the Higley 34 for the Hamilton Huskies. A minute to go, and somebody jumped, and Higley thinks it's Hamilton. As if 4th and 11 wasn't bad enough, the punt crew will have to come out now here on 4th and 16. So this ball's ready to be punted away. Back to receive this punt is Truett Robinson, excuse me. A blistering punt. And everyone was a little bit confused. It dropped short of the goal line, but eventually rolls into the end zone for a touchback. And with 38 seconds remaining in quarter number 3, it was a high-octane quarter number 1. 28 points combined put up on the board by both teams. Second quarter, it's still a little bit of juice too, but here in quarter number 3, we're almost stagnant. It's a 28-22 game, and Higley still hanging in there against Hamilton. They get the ball back again on offense, and now an opportunity. They weren't able to take advantage of their last one, but still it's just a one-possession game. Kai Milner, the future Cal Golden Bear, out on the field for quarterback. Overshoots, though, trying to find Ian Sear. Second down. Buchanan on coverage for the Hamilton Huskies. 2nd and 10 now on the way on the Higley 20. Milner slings one and deflected. On the coverage, Cole Martin, the sophomore. Offers from ASU, LSU, Colorado, Michigan State, Florida State, among others. The young sophomore been making noise, and now it's 3rd and 10. Third and 10 on the 20. Hamilton defense looking for another 3 and out. Milner to the sideline and off the hands of Truett Robinson. On coverage again is the sophomore Cole Martin. 4th down, Knights. Now, I do have to give a huge shout out to the band. They were just playing one of my favorite songs, In the Mood by Glenn Miller. That's a 1930s big band swing song. Shout out to the band director on that one. Milner here on the punt. Drops to the 50. They want to take it back. This here, it's Cole Martin running the sidelines. Took that ball from almost the 45 and advances it about another 25 yards. A great return, making something out of nothing there by the sophomore. Martin does it on defense and then picks up extra yards on offense, or special teams, I guess I should say. Higley had that ball for only about 40 seconds on the game clock. So 2 opportunities, only down 1 possession for Higley. They can barely advance the ball. Last drive didn't advance it at all. Another 3 and out. And now Hamilton with the ball here. 1st and 10 on the Higley 33. Handoff down the middle. Turn on the Jets. Play number 1 is a touchdown rush by Rodney Clemente. Score number 2 of the night for the senior. Noah Schmidt had taken the majority of the snaps here in the second half. At the running back position, Rodney Clemente re-enters the ball game and immediately makes a difference. Play number 1 of this drive puts Hamilton back up 2 possessions. Well, Hamilton gets very quiet here for the extra point attempt from Jacob Medina. Extra point is up, and the extra point is good. So the Huskies, right before the 3rd quarter buzzer, extend their lead to 13 points. It's 35-22 in favor of the Hamilton Huskies. And this is the first ever meeting between these 2 programs, the Huskies and the Knights. And for the Knights, this has been a strange year moving up into 6A. Only 8 games this year due to the coronavirus pandemic. And 6 of their 8 games this year are against teams that they've never seen before in person in all of program history. Coach Zuby has been the head coach of this program for over a decade now. But when it comes down to who they were playing, they've only seen two of these teams, Castile and Williamsfield, two former 5A teams in the past. Mountain Point, Desert Ridge, Chandler, Cedar Chavez, Hamilton, and Highland are all first ever meetings for the Knights. It's the first time that Coach Zuby had seen these coaches play in person. They've seen that these teams play in person besides on film. And Coach Zuby just talked about how it's just a unique situation, not being able to have a history with any of these teams, not understanding how some of these programs have developed throughout the years. Strong return here past the 30 for Higley. And that will bring an end to the third quarter. And looks like the helmet popped off there for Carter Hancock, and so he might have to sit out this next offensive play regardless of the quarter break. But at the end of three quarters, what was a very quiet third quarter for both teams, the Hamilton Huskies get Ronnie Clemente to burst out almost a 35-yard run to extend their lead. Now, Higley's been around since 2001. They've been around the block a little bit. But 6 of these 8 teams, brand new opponents to the Higley program. And Coach Zuby just kind of discussed, it's a unique set of circumstances moving up here, and it's been difficult for this team to be able to play not just these big schools, but teams that they just never seen before. Such talented teams like Castile, who they played before, but then you got teams like Desert Ridge and Chandler. Cedar Chavez gave Higley a run for their money, and then next week, he said no rest for the weary. Highland coming up next week, and Highland, no rest for them either. They go Hamilton last week, Chandler this week, and then they'll take on this Higley team next week to end the season. 1st and 10 here for the Higley Knights on the 33. Slinging a pass and a great reception here, Caden Pedersen. And this will be right at the mark to gain. And they will, in fact, call the first down. Higley moves the chains after back-to-back unsuccessful drives, a 3-and-out last drive. Moves the chains on play number 1 here. 1st and 10 now on their own 43. Milner, a wobbly throw, and it falls out of the hand to Truett Robinson. The snap wasn't great. Milner kind of fumbled it in his hands there, and the pass just came off strange. If that was a spiral, Robinson would have had that ball in at least about 4 yards. Just 3 years ago, Higley back-to-back 11-win seasons. Desert Sky region champions back-to-back in 16 and 17. Nearly beat Saguaro in overtime in the 4A tournament. Moved up into the 5A conference without a hitch. Won 8 games last year. Went to the second round of the tournament. Now this year, trying to get into the 6A tournament for the first time. Milner rolling, fires, connects. It will only be a gain of about 2 yards, though, finding Truett Robinson. Robinson has scored every quarter so far tonight. Robinson with 10 touchdown receptions this year. Also threw a touchdown to Kai Milner earlier in the season. They ran the Philly special twice, once to have a 2-point conversion and once for 6 points as well. But now down by 13, only 11 minutes remain in this game. Higley looking to the sideline still. 3rd down and 8 on their own 45. Down by 2 possessions. And the flag is down to stop the play. This one coming from back in the Hamilton secondary. And this will be a delay of game warning here. So 3rd and arguably manageable turns into 3rd and behind the sticks. 3rd and 13 now for Milner and the Knights. Standing on the 40. Try to find a quick screen. Pressure in his face. Throws a lob, and that ball is caught by Carter Hancock. Massive first down for Higley. even with a ton of pressure in Milner's face, able to complete that deep pass. Nearly a 40-yard reception there, and Higley moves into Hamilton territory. 10:40 to go. It's a 13-point Hamilton lead. 1st and 10 here on the Hamilton 26. Milner slings it. Another catch there by Carter Hancock. Moves up the Knights just a few more yards before he is brought down by Jack Howell and company. 4-yard gain. Second and 6 on the 22. Milner over the middle, wide open. Another great jumping catch there. Carter Hancock moves the chains again. After back-to-back poor drives, including 3 and outs, Hamilton marching down the field, and it's 1st and goal on the 9-yard line here for Higley. Milner, quick pass to the sideline, once again connecting with Hancock for a short gain. Clock continues to drain, under 9:30 to go here in the 4th and final quarter. Coach Zuby and his offense swapping out a few playmakers here. Might be looking for some goal line offense. This includes bringing in Roman Kupu, the sophomore, in the backfield here. 2nd and goal from the 4 here for Higley. Milner under center, hands off. Kupu gets brought down in the backfield. First one there on the stop for Hamilton is Deshaun Buchanan. So the sophomore takes down the sophomore for a 2-yard loss. And now it's 3rd down for the Knights. 13-point Hamilton lead. Higley trying to cut into it. 3rd and goal from the 6. Milner floats to the end zone. Touchdown, Knights. Carter Hancock throwing Higley on his back all the way down the field, and the young man gets rewarded with a touchdown. 4th touchdown reception on the year for Hancock. And the sophomore helps close the deficit down to just 7 points. Connor Olson back out on the field to attempt to make it a 6-point ball game. Extra point is up. It looked like it was nearly blocked, but it is good. Once again, just a 6-point ball game here in Chandler, Arizona. The Hamilton Huskies trying to hold off a surge here from the Higley Knights. Huskies trying to stay undefeated. Higley trying to burst into the 6A state tournament. 8:18 remaining here in the fourth and final corner. A six-point ball game. This ball is loose off to the sideline, and it looks like Hamilton might have just recovered in time there. That could have been a game changer, but Hamilton will pick up the ball here around the 30-yard line. Boy, that pooch kick was a little too close for comfort there. Huskies back out on the field looking for win number 248 as a program. A win percentage of 85% with only one losing season since 1998. That wasn't even 1998. Fake. Marchio plunging down the middle into Higley territory. Finally wrapped up and brought down, but not until he brings it all the way to the Higley 35. Britt Fleming stops the bleeding, but a massive run by the future D1 quarterback. And now Nico Marchio, 1st and 10 on the Higley 35. Schmidt carries through the middle and over to the 30-yard line, gain of 5.
Schmidt tackled by 58 of the night. Probably cover one blitz coming. Yeah, here comes the cover one pressure. Should be the Mike and the Will rolling in on us.
2nd and 6 on the 31. Handoff here on the sweep to Anaya. And he gets swallowed up. First one there is Quentin Crosby for the Higley Knights. Only a 1-yard gain, and that brings up 3rd down. Third and 5 on the Higley 30-yard line for the Hamilton Huskies. Rolling, fires, end zone. Incomplete on the coverage there for the Higley Knights. It's Britt Fleming to break that ball up. Marchio was trying to find Jackson Haynes, the sophomore, in the end zone. And now it brings up 4th down. And it looks like Hamilton will keep their offense out there with just a 6-point lead. 6:50 remaining here in the ball game.
Okie Raiders called, hey, base defense.
4th and 5 on the 30.
Hey, you were getting Okie Raider.
A whistle and a Hamilton timeout. An extremely important play here for the Hamilton Huskies. Only up by 6 points with 6:50 remaining in this game. Trying to convert on 4th and 5. Boy, 6:50 to go in this one, and it feels like we still got a lot of game to go in this. Other schools are actually done with their game. Liberty High School ended early tonight against Brophy, 62-19. Goodness gracious. Basha beating Mountain View by 7, 27-20. So a few teams ending their nights. Saguaro shutting out Horizon, 26-0. A couple of Open 8 teams last year. Possum Butte taking down Combs, 44-14. Pinnacle takes down Perry, 52-20. Castile right now still on top of Desert Ridge, though. 4th and 5 here for the Hamilton Huskies. 6:50 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Hamilton trying to stay undefeated. Marchio under center. Fakes the pitch. Rolling. Rifles a pass, and it's complete directly into the numbers of Trey Lockhart. Massive fourth down conversion for the Huskies, and it is 1st and goal. Lockhart had that phenomenal touchdown to end the first quarter. Now brings them into 1st and goal territory from the 9-yard line. Marchio under center again. Quick screen pass. Anaya battling his way forward. Mark just short. 8-yard gain, and it's 2nd and goal from the 1. Second and goal from the 1-yard line here for the Huskies. Schmidt carries, touchdown. Hamilton extends their lead, and it comes down to that massive 4th and 5 conversion. And now Noah Schmidt enters the end zone for his 9th rush touchdown of 2020. That massive Trey Lockhart conversion on 4th down allows the Huskies to move up 21 yards into down and goal. Extra point is up, and that line drive of an extra point is good. Huskies burst back out to a 13-point advantage. 6:31 to go. Hamilton in the lead. Higley running out of time. Boulder Creek, a quality 6A team this year, beating Valley Vista, but just by 7. Boulder Creek fighting with Higley for some of those final spots in the 6A tournament. And right now, Chaparral Centennial, it's still close.
I've been promising our children for weeks now that Daddy's going to take them to McDonald's, and you haven't.
Hamilton ready to kick it back off again with 6:31 remaining here in the 4th and final quarter. Floating this one out. Drops right in front of, and a good grab by Carter Hancock. Rushing back to the middle of the field, trying to snowplow an opponent, and gets it past the 30. I don't know why I said snowplow. We're in Chandler, but nonetheless. Higley running out of time. You look at how this game has went. It can take Higley up to 6 minutes to find the end zone sometimes. I mean, Hamilton's been scoring, it seems like, in 2-minute drill bursts when they score. So Higley will have to up the tempo here in the final half of quarter number 4 if they even want a chance to erase that 13-point deficit. Milner, 1st and 10. Pressured out of the pocket. Throws across, and trying to turn around for that was Ian Sear, and just couldn't get his eyes on that and his hands up in time. 2nd down.
We're going to score 49 or 50 points.
Hamilton crowd back into it. 2nd and 10 now on the Higley 32. Milner fake, gets hit after he throws over the middle, and that pass is caught. It's again Carter Hancock. The sophomore has been phenomenal in the second half. He brings Higley into Hamilton territory. Fresh set of downs for Higley, now on the Hamilton 44. searching, fires. Turning around for that one is Truett Robinson just in time for another completion and move the chains once again. Another first down for Higley. Well, I said they needed to up the tempo. Consider the tempo upped. Under 6 minutes remaining here in the game. Still a 2-possession ball game. 1st and 10 now on the Hamilton 27 for Milner and the Knights. Pressured out of the pocket again. Floats up a bomb, and that's nearly intercepted by Jack Howell, but falls incomplete out of bounds. And that pressure again comes from the son of former Arizona Cardinal, so Russell Davis II. His dad, Russell Davis, played in the NFL, formerly with the NFL Cardinals. The NFL Arizona Cardinals, excuse me. It wasn't that long ago that it was in some other state. 2nd and 10 now on the 27. 5:46 remaining here in quarter number 4. Finds pressure again. A great screen pass caught by Colton Allen. And able to gain about 5 yards, but 3rd down is on the way. When you look at defense, Russell Davis and also Austin Ruddle, we've said both of their names often tonight. And I was asking Coach Tedeschi, who are a couple players who it was very obvious that in the pandemic they put the work in during the shutdown. Some players who weren't starters coming into this year, but after they came back from the shutdown, they performed, and Coach Tedeschi said it was Davis and Ruddle. Maybe not 2 guys who you expected to come out and start this year, but they have been performing, and they showed off that they were working during the shutdown. This pass falls in front of Carter Hancock. Believe that was Haggard there on coverage, and that brings up 4th down. Well, some great offensive spurts here in this drive by Higley, but now stalled out on 4th and 7 here, and you have to leave your offense out. It's a 13-point ball game. A field goal would still make it a 2-possession game. But speaking of Davis and Riddle, Davis leads the team with 10 tackles for loss and 7 sacks. A group that worked during that offseason. 4th and 7, hit from behind. We talked about he put in the work during the shutdown, and he's showing it off here. Russell Davis with the sack and a turnover on downs. .457 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Hamilton looking to put this game away and go to 6-0 on the season, heading to the final game of the year, the Battle of Arizona Avenue, as they will take on the Chandler Wolves on ESPNU next Friday night. Higley fighting for that playoff live. Ranked right now number 16 in the 6A conference. Only the top 8 go to the tournament. Clemente on the run, a gain of about 3 yards. 7-time state runner-ups, or 7-time state champions, excuse me. Woo. I would be absolutely appalling, everyone, to not be talking about these 7 state championships for Hamilton. 7 times undefeated regular seasons. But all 3 of those feats haven't been accomplished since 2014. That was a state runner-up. Hamilton hasn't earned a state championship or an undefeated regular season since 2012. That being a state championship. The last undefeated regular season was 2011. Marchio keeps it, plunges down the middle, but gets a flag. Only twice has Hamilton went undefeated through all 14 games. That was back in 2009 and 2010. And moving into the final game of the regular season, the Huskies lost the game due to Chaparral, and we have an official throwing his hat. That usually means another flag. And so this original flag is on the Huskies, and it looks like this hat flag might be another one. And that official who threw his hat having a discussion with one of the Huskies on the field. So it's an 11-mile drive west down the 202 to get to Higley High School. And in order to get this first down, it looks like Hamilton will have to drive all 11 miles to get there. So here we go. Another unsportsmanlike here on Hamilton. And now the down box operator will go for a nice Sunday hike a long way back down the field. Well, the Huskies fallen up a 9-3 season. The year previous, they were 3-7, the first ever year in program history under 500. But this program, a win percentage of 85%. 85% of their games since 1998, they have won. Looking for win number 248 in program history. Boy, again, it's too late in the night. I'm not going to count this up. I'm just going to have to trust the scoreboard operator on this one because Hamilton is moving all the way back inside the 10. And the officials are going to have another chat here. It seems like the officials, now with all the penalties settled, they might be checking where they're going to go for dinner after this. It's not too late at night. Yeah, they might not have the ball placement perfect here, so they're going to discuss more.
10-yard spot foul, right?
One of the coaches on the Hamilton sideline couldn't quite catch who that was, talking with the lone official not in this dinner discussion. Castile took down Desert Ridge tonight, 24-17. How about this? Canyon View takes down Raymond S. Kellis. It's been a tough decade for the Cougars. Shadow Ridge taking down Mountain Ridge. That's a big win for Shadow Ridge, 18-13. Canyon Del Oro, a big win over Ironwood. A few more score updates for you across the state of Arizona. All right, so we're going to move the ball around again. So a face mask was called here on Hamilton. That was declined, so we're going to get an unsportsmanlike call. That will be accepted by Higley.
Why is it third down? What'd you call?
So we'll call it 3rd down and 23. Hamilton on their own 20. Marchio fakes the handoff and stumbles. A last-second read there to not hand it off, and that will be a short gain and bring up 4th down. The clock continues to dwindle. The punt team will come out. I believe that the punt team here will try to eat up all the clock that they can. It's a 2-possession ball game right now, 42-29 lead for the Hamilton Huskies. And Higley just has not had the ability to get into the end zone quickly. They're typically taking about 5 minutes off the clock to get into the end zone per score. So the more clock drained, the better here for Hamilton. Ball gets punted off by Cholowski. And a phenomenal Hamilton bounce inside the 25. So with 3 minutes and 4 seconds remaining here in the game, Higley down by 13 points. We'll have to trek deep down the field, not once but twice. They will start off this offensive series on their own 22. Well, this has been a difficult year for everyone. We are just glad to be able to have the opportunity not just to stream this game to everyone unable to be here tonight, but just be playing football during this pandemic safely. And Coach Zadevsky put it, it's just been emotionally draining for everyone. The off-season, the shutdown, everything. Milner trying to find Robinson. Coverage there was by Cole Martin, and now a flag down on the turf. A very late flag as Cole Martin looks on in disbelief.
Our coach is like his heels are on the ball. I mean, it's on his heels are on the paint. That ref's being a silly goose.
So the penalty is on Hamilton here. First down for Higley. And we have another flag on the field before the next play begins. An unsportsmanlike penalty on Hamilton. They've had about half a dozen tonight. And that will move the Higley Knights into Hamilton territory. 2:59 remains here in the fourth quarter. The Knights still have at least a chance. 1st and 10 here on the Hamilton 48. And this has certainly electrified the Hamilton crowd. Milner fires a bomb and overshoots Carter Hancock. 2nd down. And this flag will be on Hamilton. 5-yard penalty on Hamilton. Or excuse me, on Higley. Apologies. More scores rolling on in from Sports 360 AZ. Coconino takes down Flagstaff. That makes Coconino undefeated for the 3rd time in program history. Queen Creek obliterating Mountain Point 57-16. 1st and 15, Higley back in their own territory on the 47. Milner finds a wide open receiver back at the original line of scrimmage, and Ian Sear picks up about 7 yards, and we have another flag on the field. So a flag after the play, while a couple of Huskies were in the sideline of Hamilton. And this has been one of the longest fourth quarters that I've seen in a long time, and typically it's because of scoring, but not tonight. This will be a personal foul on Hamilton. That is a 15-yard penalty. Higley will walk down the field again. And it doesn't matter what you think about these penalties, whether they're necessary or not, whether they're correct or not. You just cannot be giving up this many free yards. I mean, we've seen almost half a dozen, or I think either equivalent to or more than half a dozen unsportsmanlike penalties. We've seen 2 or 3 personal fouls. And when Hamilton takes on Chandler next Friday night, that's going to be equivalent to touchdowns. Milner sends a bullet, but ricochets off the hands of Carter Hancock. 2nd down on the way. The sweatshirts are going on outside in the grandstands. When this game started, a gorgeous 64 degrees. It has now fallen down to 54 degrees. I know that's a terrible temperature here in Arizona in the middle of November. 2:43 here in the fourth. 2nd and 10 on the 30 now for the Higley Knights. Milner evades his defenders. First down and slides for nearly a 15-yard gain. The future Cal Golden Bear trying to lead his team back to the end zone, but they're running out of time. Higley still has 3 timeouts, but now under 2:30 remaining here in the fourth quarter. It's a 13-point gap. Milner fires a bullet and bounces right in front of Carter Hancock. Their last scoring drive, it was Hancock who guided them to the end zone and scored the touchdown. Milner has tried to hit the sophomore multiple times this drive, and they just have not been able to connect. 2nd and 10 now with 2:14 remaining in the fourth. If Higley can get into the end zone, they put on a near successful pooch kick earlier, and their kicker, Connor Olson, has been great. If they can get into the end zone, they might be able to recover a kick. Milner, 2nd and 10 on the 16. Swallowed up in the backfield and finally brought down. It's Dawson Hubbard picking up his 2nd sack of the season. The junior tacks on a 5-yard loss. It's now 3rd and 15 for Higley. Pushed out of the red zone. They're now on the 21. Milner over the line. Pass falls incomplete, but a flag on the field. Again, searching for Carter Hancock, but him and Milner this drive just have not been able to reach each other. A holding penalty here against the Knights. That is declined, and that will bring up 4th and 15. One last chance for the Higley Knights. 91 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, down by 13. Fourth and 15 on the 21. Milner fires, pitches it back. Carter Hancock. The hook and ladder. It converts on 4th down to make a 1st and goal, or excuse me. The hook and ladder converts on 4th down to put the Knights in the end zone. And it's a 7-point ball game with $1:24 to go. Connor Olson on to attempt the extra point. High snap. Milner gets it down. Olson completes it. And it is a 6-point ball game. An incredible hook and ladder on 4th and 15 on the 21 to put Higley in the end zone. But now, can they recover the kick? Another important emphasis here, 3 timeouts remaining here for the Knights as well. So they can elongate this game by quite a margin. Huskies looking to remain perfect. Higley looking to go one game above 500 before taking on Highland next week at home to end their regular season. And if they can't win both games, it might be the final game of their season next year. Connor Olson off to kick it off for Higley. Pooch in the air. And a great grab and getting down onto the ground. Textbook grab by Tay Brown, the sophomore, to give Hamilton the ball. This game is not over yet. Higley still has 3 timeouts. So Chandler takes down Highland 42-19. If the Huskies can hold on, it will be an undefeated battle of Arizona Avenue next week on ESPNU. But first, Marchio and the Huskies have to drain out this clock. Schmidt on the run, finds a massive hole and breaks away from the defense. Onto the Higley 30-yard line. Higley is letting the clock drain away. They have timeouts to use. Only a minute remaining here in the fourth and final quarter. It's a 42-36 ball game. Ten seconds on the play clock. Only 45 seconds on the game clock. Higley still has timeouts. Handoff. Clemente breaks one tackle, tries to burst through another before he's brought down by Britt Fleming. Only 34 seconds remains in the fourth quarter. So the Knights still have 2 timeouts remaining with 34 seconds to go. It's a 6-point ball game right now. Even if Higley gets the ball back, I don't know if they have enough time to score. They have been so meticulous on their scoring drives. They haven't been able to get into the end zone quickly. Chaparral falling to Centennial 42-28. So that'll make a difference potentially depending on what the committee says in the open division. Hamilton right now ranked 3rd in the open division. The only 2 teams in front of them right now are Chandler and Desert Edge. 2nd and 2 from the 23 here. Still 2 timeouts for Higley. 34 seconds remain in the game. Marchio under center. Schmidt punches it down the middle, breaks one tackle, breaks another. Inside the 5. All you need to do is run to run out the clock, but right now, Hamilton able to run for major yards and moves the chains again. 20 seconds remain. Higley still has 2 timeouts. And Hamilton will not snap this ball. Higley decides not to use their 2 timeouts. And that is how the ball game ends. Higley fought from behind all game long, and their best effort couldn't do it in the end. The Hamilton Huskies remain undefeated on the 2020 season, defeating Higley 42-36. And coming up next week for the Hamilton Huskies, it's an undefeated battle of Arizona Avenue. Both Hamilton and Chandler undefeated. It doesn't matter where you are, what state you're in, no matter what. You will be able to see that game on ESPNU or with the ESPN app on ESPN and Disney+. As the teams wave goodbye to one another, that will do it here. From Chandler, Arizona, the Hamilton Huskies, program win number 248. An incredible game from both of these schools. Higley, their next game will be at home to end the year against Highland. Only 8 teams make the 6A tournament. Right now, Higley ranked 16th. They might have to win that game in order to head on to this year's tournament. Well, that will do it. Thank you for watching Hamilton Husky football here as they took down the Higley Knights 42-36. I'm Devin Henry. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring you guys tonight's game. And until next time, we hope you enjoy the Battle of Arizona Avenue next week. And have a great rest of your weekend, everyone.